What's up? It's your boy, the King of Tank Style, coming at you with another episode of the Salty Fresh podcast. And in today's episode, we'll be discussing foods and medicine that we use.
Wow, you didn't mess up the intro this time. That's a miracle. So, we're going to start with medicine. And Noah's going to be talking about this part. He's more familiar about it. Go ahead.
Alright, let me hand it over to my man, Mr. Dr. Professor Chun.
Oh, brother.
He went to Fish Tank University and he got his doctorates from Saltwater University of Bikini Bottom.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm gonna hand it over to my man, Mr. Dr. Professor Chan.
All right. Let's hear it.
Alright, so my name is Mr. Dr. Professor Chan, and today's lecture is going to be on medicines that we can use in our fish tanks.
Yay.
By the way, I have to say I gave Alex 7 Fs in his freshwater exam to get his doctorates. One is because he hasn't passed the goldfish level, which is basically freshman year.
Says the guy who tried to fit 5 goldfish in, what, a 10-gallon?
Hey, that was before I knew minimum was 30 for one.
With frogs?
My frogs ate it, okay? You know
Uh-huh.
That was a research project that I was doing for the Atlantic Ocean University. I was a transfer student there.
Mm-hmm.
But back to our main topic of the lecture is medications that we all use, or you can use.
Okay.
Now what I like to use is the main one I used to love. I always like to use. I always do research with it. Is Pimafix. Now Pimafix is made by a company called API, same people who make Melafix. I always like to use that. Matter of fact, I recommend you use both. As far as treatment goes, I use it to treat ick and any other disease. However, if that doesn't work, I do like to use something called erythromycin. Now, erythromycin is more of a bacterial infection.
I've never
We
heard
use
of that
to
before.
treat- it's made by Tetra. But it works like really well.
Mm-hmm.
In some of my prior fish they developed something called rust,
Yep.
where it turns the scales yellowish, like it's a goldish color. Erythromycin, I really like using that. There also is Ickguard. I know you have that, right?
I think so. And I have general purpose as well.
You have the general, or you have the lifeguard, I think.
Something like that.
Lifeguard, I would say lifeguard and general, the general cure one is, I would say they're the same, but I think general cure is more broad range. So I do believe it's been I've never used it, but I've seen it. As far as I know,
Mm-hmm.
general cure usually, I want to say, treats both bacterial and I think some not viral, some parasitic infection.
Yeah.
However, parasitic, for parasitic, for mines, it does, even for ick, it's saying that you're supposed to use like copper-based medicines.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to use that. It's just one fact is that if you have invertebrates, don't use that in your tank because the copper will kill your invertebrates.
Isn't that
So that's
also
a
with
big-
Melafix too? Like, I think it's harmful for like, what was it? It was something along the lines of crabs or something. I know Melafix was it good with some other type of fish. I can't remember the top of my head.
Melafix? No, I use Melafix out in my tank. No, it doesn't kill my crabs. My crabs are okay.
No, that was. Never mind. I don't remember what it is at the moment, but go ahead.
That's the main ones that I use. For algae, I do believe there are some that are invert safe.
Yeah.
For example, I think I think top fins algae.
Mm-hmm.
is LG Top Fins one, I believe, is safe, is invert safe.
Okay.
The Tetra one, I'm not too sure. I think last time I used that, it's not invert safe.
Mhm.
So I would watch out for that.
Okay.
Um.
So are
Oh,
most medicines are they like interchangeable with salt water and fresh water? Like you can use it for both. Like all of them can do that.
I would watch. Some do say they don't use it in salt water,
Mhm.
but I do. I would say when it comes to Permafix, if you're gonna use that, I would go. I know it says for fresh water, I believe it's 5 milliliters for every 10 gallon,
Yep.
and the cap is your measuring cup too, so it's the first line.
Yep.
But for 20 would be for me would be 10 mLs. But what I like to do, if like I said, is if you're gonna use Melifix,
Mhm.
I would use Primafix. So I would actually go 5 milliliters. So say you have a 20.
Yep.
So basically, rule of thumb is I would go half of Melifix, half of Primafix,
So you
because
so
those
you so you
two,
can mix match some medicines.
you could the one that I do know from work that we can, or actually I knew it before I worked at PetSmart, is that's the main one I know you can mix is Melifix and Primafix because it works together from what I understand.
Mhm.
And just to wrap up this section, before I hand it over to the King of Tank style, I would say the big notes on this would be watch your copper if you have inverts,
Yeah.
know what you have. Matter of fact, you know what? Before I end this section, I'm gonna give one description of common things you're gonna see, probably both in salt and fresh,
Mhm.
is ick.
Mm.
Ick looks like, I would say, just white spots on the fish.
Yeah.
That's common in fish that don't have scales, but for my fish, I want to say it's ick, but at the same time saltwater kind of tends to go down this whole tree of what it could be. Oh, and a sign that your fish has something going on with them is if they start scratching. Oh,
Huh.
talking mushrooms.
What?
Is if your fish start to scratch on your fish tank ornament. Foods. I use 3 brands called Ocean Nutrition, Omega 1, Hikari, Oromar, and Aqueon.
Why are you suddenly being held at gunpoint talking about these products?
No, I'm stretching.
Oh, okay. And what's the reasoning for each of them?
Aqueon, it actually came with my beta tank.
So, what is that? Pellets?
It's pellets.
Okay.
Nah, it didn't come with my beta tank. I bought it. I know there's one that does come with it. Oh, speaking of betas, if you ever go to PetSmart and you see a new tank, a split tank, as much as that looks cool, don't buy it, please. You're gonna piss me off. I mean, I mean, that's my opinion because
It's kind of
if you look
trash.
at it,
It's kind of trash, actually.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I mean, then
All
again,
those, all those ones are just kind of, they're just cash grabs. They're not
I
really
mean,
meant for
it's not filled up
fish.
all the way. That's the thing.
Hey, perfect for you.
I'm gonna retire from the podcast. I'm gonna let Mr. Doctor Professor Chuck run this podcast.
Okay,
Dang
so
it,
the next food is, why do you use that one after the Aqueon? It was Aqueon, and then it was what?
Omega 1.
Okay, why do you use
Omega
that one?
1 is that's the only brand. That's the only brand that I know, and that's what I've been using ever since I started saltwater.
Is that
So
like frozen?
it's not frozen. It's flakes. It's
Oh,
brine flakes.
bran
Yeah,
flakes, like the cereal.
no brine flakes.
Oh,
And,
okay.
uh, it's good. Like I want to say, it's a good substitution for live brine. But I would recommend if you're gonna feed brine, I would feed like live from every now and then.
Mhm.
Even though
Is this for the 55 or?
This is for the 55 and the 20.
Okay. And then it was the shrimp.
Oromar, that's squid.
Oh, okay. And that's for the eels, right?
For well, that's for wait, three of my eels.
And what's your process?
My process is I go to the store we don't mention anymore.
Okay. A grocery store.
I go to the frozen section of seafood. I go pick out a box, preferably I pick out the 1 pound box because the 3 pound box is just a lot, but it is worth my money. But it's just there's a certain person that I've been meaning to talk to there. We won't get into that. But
Okay.
anyways, I go pick up the box, and then
And
I
how long does
line
that
up.
usually last you?
That lasts me about, if I actually fed him right, maybe about a couple weeks. But the upside to eels, like I've said, I believe it was either last episode or 2 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you feed them good, they usually last for about 2 to 3 days. So I'd say it'll last me about a month at most.
Mm. Okay.
But then again, my blue pincher crabs eat this squid too. So it's maybe just under a month, if not a month.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, Hikari. What else? Can I help you? No, my trigger was like staring at me.
Mm.
Hikari, BioPure. I want to say that's the same reason as Omega 1. I believe we've been using that ever since we were freshwater, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe freshwater, I want to say like we started using that just as a substitute for live brine,
Mm-hmm.
like brine flakes. But um my barred eels I like to feed live sand crabs.
Sand crabs.
They like live.
Okay.
And what brand do you like to use?
Well, for goldfish, that's interesting because I use whatever that is available. But so far, I use the Walmart brand flakes. I use PetSmart brand
Oh, there you go. That's the
flakes.
good brand.
Or
Good choice. Good
no,
choice with this
I mean,
PetSmart
actually,
brand,
it's
man.
API Tropical Fish, and I've
Oh,
used Extreme Aquatic Foods.
oh, that's
Those
you,
ones,
you,
they kind of smell good to me. I don't know why they just smell good.
is this
And
smell good
what?
because you're hungry all the time, or does it just smell like?
I don't
What
know.
does it smell
It
like?
just smells good. I can't. It smells like crabs almost, but it's. I don't know how to. It's like the flakes are big, but it doesn't come with a lot, and it's kind of expensive. So I wouldn't buy it all the time, but it is good. I heard it's good for your fish. I can't
You
get it. I
used it?
can't specifically get into what it's good for the fish, but I've used it once before. They did like it. I've also used not flakes. Was it pellets? What was it called?
Frozen?
Frozen. I've used that, and bloodworms, and all of them work pretty well. To me, I don't think fish really care what they eat. They just want to eat, but it also depends on how you want to treat your fish. I know there's like food that says clearer water or better digesting. Is also like what's it called? Not floating, sinking pellets. It all just depends on what kind of fish you have in order to get the good food. To me, it doesn't really matter. My goldfish, they'll eat anything, and I usually just do flakes. Flakes is easier, and just with a pinch, that's a lot, and they usually eat the whole thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. For me, it's not that complicated. I just feed them flakes. They eat it. It's good. And the last time I bought one, I bought what was it? I don't know how big it is, but it's pretty big. So
The
it lasts.
the
Yeah.
massive container.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the biggest one. And usually, most of the time, most foods that I get, they usually last me like maybe 3 months, 4 or 5, maybe even a year sometimes. So usually they last me pretty long. So yeah, that's for my section. Anything else you want to add?
This video is sponsored by NordVPN.
I wish it was, but this video is sponsored by us. Subscribe, like,
Comment,
share, comment. Whoa, wait. If we do the outro, you gotta do it properly.
I don't. You don't remember that outro?
So that's today's episode. It was just about fish food and medicine. Kind of a shorter episode, just a little bit shorter. But we wanted to get this off of our chest, let everybody know what's it like. And yeah, but that's pretty much it. And the next episode, I'm not sure what it's going to be about, but it looks like it's my turn.
Yeah, because Alex isn't doing his homework.
So I'll figure something out, and we'll get to you the next episode. So
Meaning he doesn't know.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Noel.
Alright, that's the Salty Fresh podcast. Remember, why be salty when you can stay fresh with the Salty Fresh podcast every week?
Friday
Depending
or
on
Saturday.
Or Saturday.
Sometimes Sunday. Sometimes. But usually Friday or Saturday.
Because we have a life outside of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I have, but I don't know about.
Okay. I have a job too. So, anyway, bye everybody.
Bye.